Okay, we are going to start as a subcommittee, and then we'll interrupt and call the roll once we have a quorum. Mr. Levine, possession is 9/10 of the law. Oh, let's see, 1, 2, we got 5, so let's go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, there's.
What's that? No, it doesn't work that way. Sorry.
Chesbro.
Here.
Chesbro. Grove. Bigelow.
Present.
Garcia. Murotsuchi. Patterson.
Here.
Skinner. Stone.
Here.
Williams.
We have a quorum, and so we will proceed with item 2, AB 288. Mr. Levine.
Thank you, Chair and members. I'm pleased to present AB 288. The bill directs the California Coastal Commission to make notice of a public meeting or hearing available in both English or Spanish. AB 288 also provides that the Commission may make the notice available in any other language. Our coast is one of the nation's most treasured natural resources. It is in the best interest of the state to increase the potential for Spanish-speaking Californians to become more aware and active in the implementation of the Coastal Act. Coastal Commission actions impact several communities and neighborhoods throughout the state of California. This bill would help generate active participation by all affected Californians, not just English speakers in those areas. As noted in the analysis, the state's diverse population has given rise to several statutory requirements for translating important government documents in commonly spoken languages. Most recently in 2012, SB 965 by Senator Wright similarly required translation of agenda notices posted by the State Water Resources Control Board and the California Regional Water Quality Control Boards as well. In closing, AB 288 recognizes that coastal access is something we treasure in California, and we want coastal access for all of us. This bill is an important measure that helps expand public outreach and coastal protection. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Okay, is there any witnesses in support of this bill present? Any witnesses in opposition? The bill's been moved. There's a second. Any discussion or questions from members? I'll take your opening as you close, unless you really have something vital you want to say. Oh, I'm sorry. Is there a question?
Just for clarification, we just are isolated on these dollars and these dollars. I'm sorry, these dollars and these dollars alone, as you've outlined within the bill, and those will come
from their current budget, which has been increased since last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it won't be going to other parts of their budget. It'll just be for the printing and the as the estimate was put.
Yeah, this doesn't actually cause them for spending any extra money. The costs are de minimis. If it's $20,000, as has been for the State Water Resources Board, there's no extra money allocated for that purpose.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll take that as you close. Please call the roll.
Chesbro.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do pass to Appropriations Committee. Chesbro.
Aye.
Chesbro, aye. Grove. Bigelow.
Aye.
Bigelow, aye. Garcia. Aye. Garcia, aye. Murotsuchi. Patterson.
Aye.
Patterson, aye. Skinner. Stone. Aye. Stone, aye. Williams.
That's out. Thank
Gracias.
Mr. V. Manuel Perez. Item 1.
Hello, Mr. Chair.
Welcome.
And members. Thank you for allowing me to present this measure before you today. As it is amended, AB 177 addresses an issue that is significant not only for my area but the entire state of California. The development of the Salton Sea's vast geothermal resources. Specifically, the bill requires the California Energy Commission in its biannual Integrated Energy Policy Report to convene a stakeholder group to advise the CEC on developing and transmitting renewable energy projects located in the Salton Sea resource area. As you know, the Integrated Energy Policy Report, otherwise known as IPER, is the state's master planning document for energy procurement. It has never included or addressed Salton Sea resources and how they can play a role in meeting state energy needs. This is a significant policy for a number of reasons. To begin with, the retirement of the San Onofre Nuclear Generation Station represents a loss of 2,000 megawatts of electricity on our grid. with the potential to lose even more generation due to the phasing out of once-through cooling generation facilities along the coast. We are faced with a key question about how this lost energy generation will be replaced. In southeastern California, meanwhile, we are blessed with abundant renewable resources. One of the most underutilized, however, is the Salton Sea's geothermal field. It is considered one of the most prolific geothermal hotspots in the world. Yet, of the Sea's estimated 2,000 megawatts of potential clean geothermal power, only 326 megawatts is being harnessed. At the same time, we have a public health and environmental catastrophe in the making at the sea. Reduced water inflows to the sea resulting from state legislation known as the Quantification Settlement Agreement will shrink the sea's volume by up to 60%, exposing up to 100 square miles of dusty sea lakebed in the desert's strong winds. Not only does the exposed lakebed represent a critical habitat loss for birds and other wildlife, but it poses a serious health threat for local residents who already suffer from respiratory illnesses in higher numbers than anywhere else in California. Under existing law, the state has unconditional responsibility for mitigating environmental impact costs associated with the QSA beyond its first $133 million. Therefore, it is anticipated that the mitigation costs of the state will be formidable, an estimated multi-billion-dollar obligation. By way of example, a similar water transfer resulted in the draining of Owens Lake by the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, creating the single largest known source of fugitive dust in the United States. To date, more than $1.2 billion has been spent to stem that dust pollution. Mitigating dust pollution at the Salton Sea is likely to be much more expensive, not to mention the fact that there is considerable legal evidence to suggest the state is also responsible for the sea's actual restoration. I trust that you are beginning to connect the dots to understand that by removing obstacles to the development of the sea's vast geothermal resources, the state gains access to a potential source of financing to help the state meet its obligations. Just this month, the Imperial Irrigation District commissioned a study reporting nearly $4 billion in potential revenue if we were to build out the renewable resource potential of the Salton Sea Renewable Resource Area. Therefore, I urge your support for AB 177. It's very much in the state's interest to do so, both from the perspective of statewide energy planning and meeting our greenhouse gas reduction goals, as well as giving the billion-dollar price tag the state is facing with regard to Salton Sea mitigation costs. I respectfully ask for an aye vote. And we've also have sat down with the opposition and have sat down as well with folks that have now are neutral, sat down with many members, sat down with folks from Calpine as well. Cassandra, I think, will be speaking very soon. And obviously, I'm looking forward to continuing working with them as well, because I also understand the geothermal potential, or that it also already exists in the Northern California region, that I think we need to look into as well.
So may I ask a question before I open the testimony? Do I understand correctly, and I'm not, it's up, you can answer this any way you want, it's no pressure from me, but
Sure.
do I understand you correctly that you are willing to accept as authors amendments the proposal from Calpine?
Sure.
Okay, and now, of course, that's an amendment that was not adequately analyzed or agendized, so it would be one that you'd have to take it to subsequent
I think
committee.
it'll be in appropriations
Committee,
by
yeah.
then.
And I believe copies are, we can discuss the details after testimony, but I believe everybody has a copy.
Sure.
Or do we need to hand them out? You will have a copy soon. So,
And I do have a couple of folks here in
okay,
support
I'm
of
going
the
to open in
measure.
just a moment.
Okay,
You just
no
introduce
worries.
those? Okay, witnesses in support.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members. Billy Doring, representing the County of Imperial. We're very glad to see that the bill is amended to include geothermal resources both in Northern and in Southern California along the sea. Being one of the highest unemployment counties, or if not the highest in the state, the Salton Sea is a very important issue for us in the development, and especially with geothermal as we head towards the RPS. Thank you.
Thank you. Next witness.
Mr. Chairman and members, Jack Gualco with the Gualco Group on behalf of the Imperial Irrigation District. The author has stated the case very, very well, and the analysis also points out, I think, the essential point in this whole debate, which is the state has an obligation because of the Quantification Settlement Agreement and the stability that has brought to Southern California water supplies to make sure that the investment opportunities at the Salton Sea help provide the necessary revenue stream to be able to mitigate and restore the sea. Without that, the QSA is in jeopardy. So Mr. Perez's activities over the years to make sure that the sea and the QSA are properly recognized will be an important part of the debate for our water supply future up and down the state going forward. So we are pleased to support the measure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And next witness. Any other witnesses in support? Or tweener or in transition?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, committee members. Cassandra Goff with Calpine. Calpine is the state's largest independent power producer, and we're the largest supplier of the state's consumed renewable energy. The geysers located in the Cheris District in Lake and Sonoma County supply about 20% of the state's, again, consumed renewable power. It's currently at 725 megawatts in terms of our output. Geothermal is a very valuable resource. As Assemblymember Perez has pointed out, he has been a vocal and passionate advocate for geothermal resources, and we understand how developing the new resources is important to his district and will be beneficial to his local economy and his local environment. Just as the geysers are beneficial to the local economies and environment in Lake and Sonoma County, Lake being one of, also unfortunately, one of the poorest counties. Because of our operations there, we are the largest taxpayer to both counties. We employ over 300 full-time workers and have about 150 other contractors on the mountain throughout the year. In addition, we too have 2 new permitted facilities that have project labor agreements and are as shovel-ready can be. But unfortunately, those permits will be expiring starting next year, air permits and then land use permits. And for various reasons, we've been unsuccessful in getting those permitted. So we are more similar and more alike, and we appreciate the Assemblyman working with him and his staff. It's been like the end of session at the first few days, but it's been really, really productive. And just the fact that this bill is here today has given us the opportunity to tell our story and bring awareness to what is happening to existing geothermal and new geothermal. And so we've been able to work together on these amendments to include, so that they are expanded to geothermal statewide. But there's something important here, and that's that I don't want to leave you with the impression, and I know the Assemblyman would agree, that this isn't the end. This isn't providing the solution. And there's a graph I've shown to many of you that shows in 2012 statewide, 2012-13, about 11,000 gigawatt hours of geothermal was being supplied to the state. But as you know, the RPS increased to 33% in 2011. And so after the RPS, though, as the IOUs have done a great job in procuring and securing enough contracts to subscribe to the 33%, the net effect is that 11,000 gigawatt hours goes down to 6,000 gigawatt hours. This is statewide geothermal by 2020 and could be less by then. And my point, the reason I bring that up is I don't think that was the intention of anybody when they passed the RPS, is that somehow existing resources would be threatened, because we need this as part of our low-carbon future. We all know that. It shouldn't even be a matter of discussion. The geysers, the existing geysers, are the equivalent of 430,000 cars on the road. So, in terms of saved carbon emissions, the new projects would be the equivalent of 60,000 cars removed from the road. So, it's important that we continue this dialogue as we move this bill forward. But that we continue this dialogue, and we look forward to working with your committee and others this year, and particularly with Assemblyman Perez's leadership on this important issue, to see what else we can do to sort of right the ship, so to speak. So thank you very much. I look forward to working with you. I appreciate you taking the amendments. Thank you.
Thank you. Next witness.
Mr. Chair and members, Erin Niemela representing the Large Scale Solar Association. We originally opposed the bill based on the integration language in it, which we saw as potentially convoluting an existing regulatory process that was ongoing with regard to that issue. While we won't be able to go through our formal process of changing our position and getting the author's office a letter, he's done a tremendous amount of work with the stakeholder groups, invited them in, spent a lot of time addressing their concerns, and we could not be more complimentary of him fixing our problems. So until we can get a formal letter out, I'm going to feel comfortable saying that we're going to verbally go to neutral, and we'll be reviewing the Calpine amendments when they become public, but I don't anticipate any change in our position. We really appreciate it. Thanks.
Great, thank you.